Grand Forks School Board now holding a special meeting tonight that could leave an elementary school principal without a job.
The superintendent is recommending the board not renew the contract of Ben Franklin Elementary Principal Joshua Mailholt. He's in his second year as principal, and the school board memo lists several concerns about his performance,
including an inability to follow directives from his supervisor, not maintaining trust with those he supervises, and not communicating effectively. Administrators also claim he is unable to understand and implement adequate safety procedures, causing staff to be concerned about security, and say he isn't able to carry out basic leadership functionality.
That special meeting is happening tonight at 6. If the board votes for non-renewal, Mailholt's employment would end at the end of the school year. Stick with Valley News Live as we continue to follow this developing story.